Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon on this day, which is a Monday, and it is August the 1st of 2022. I'm so happy that you decided to join us on today on this special broadcast. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, where we have the opportunity, the privilege, and the honor to render hope and encouragement to you, our audience across the world. And I am so grateful to God that He's allowed us to have that privilege and the honor to do so. Well, today I want you to, I'm sending you an invitation to join us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Many of the broadcasts that we bring to you and the Facebook Lives that we bring to you, they are available on our YouTube channel. Pop my name in, Portia Wheatley, and you will see everything that we've ever done via Trophy of Life or some type of setting that always is about hope and encouragement. But today is a special day. It is my wedding anniversary. Rah, rah, rah. Yep, rah, rah, rah. Let me see you clap your hands. Let me see you do. You better do something. Yes, I am so happy that God has allowed me to be Mrs. Wheatley. For today is 41 years. We were married. My spouse and I were married 33 years, but I still carry that last name Wheatley. I proudly carry that last name of Wheatley, and I'm grateful to God that He's allowed me to do so. And to celebrate, to honor, to continue to live my best life, I have invited other widows and widowers to join me today just to talk about our experience, and to encourage widows and widowers across this country. It's amazing how many have had to walk in our shoes. But one of the things I say, until you have walked in our shoes, there's only so much you can say. You can try to encourage us and always be there for us. But until you have, you really don't understand the loss. You really don't understand the loss. But we're so grateful to God for this opportunity today to be able to share. So my guests are going to introduce themselves, and I want you to listen attentively. Listen with an open heart and an open mind to actually, we never want you to be in our shoes. We never want that, but so is life. It's happened, and we're making the best of it through the precious caring and love of God. We're making the best of it, and we want you to know what's going on with us, and we want to encourage you, any widow, any widowers out there, that you can make it day by day, one day at a time, that you can make it and continue to live your best life, as well as walk in your purpose. You still have purpose. You still have purpose through the heartache, through the tears, through the pain, disappointments, all of that. But you still have purpose. God has given us great life, and we're so happy to do that. And I've also welcomed Miss Carol Williams. She's a professional at grieving. I'm not going to mess up her title, and I want her to introduce herself. And what we're going to do when there is an opportunity for her to share, she's going to do just that. Share with us empowering information that will help us through another day, empowering information that will continue to help us throughout the years to come. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to, according to my screen, I'm going to ask Carol if you would introduce yourself, and then we're going to have Tiffany to introduce yourself. Okay. And then we'll be back to you.
Well, happy anniversary, Portia. I most certainly appreciate this opportunity to share on today. My name is Carol J. Williams. I'm known as the Compassionate Grief Supporter. Also, I am an advanced grief recovery method specialist certified by the Grief Recovery Method Institute. I am all about helping grieving individuals understand that grief does not have to be the end of your story, but you can move, and movement is definitely possible in the midst of grief. So I look forward to later on sharing just a little additional information to encourage, empower, and equip you. One thing I will say that everyone's journey is totally different, and it's okay to feel how you feel.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Oh, we're gonna go. I think we're gonna have a great broadcast because we're gonna leave some great information from those that are sharing on today, and we don't want to hold back. We definitely let me fix this. We don't want to hold back. Gallery style. We don't want to hold back. We want to share everything you're feeling, what you're feeling, and we definitely do not want you to feel sorry for us. That we don't want you to do. Okay, let there and those thoughts and those let's see, bullet points come to mind. I got to shoot them out there because I'll forget. Otherwise, I want you to know that though. Don't feel sorry for us. We just want to share and celebrate me. Yep, I said celebrate me because sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, look, girl, you can do this. Man, you can do this one day at a time. All right, Tiffany, share.
Yes, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tiffany Carson Kennedy Smoot. I know it's a long name. I get teased all the time. I just want to say again, as Carol said, happy anniversary, Portia. We are celebrating you today. And thank you so much for inviting me to partake in today's session. I'm an IT instructor. My husband passed away on October 31st, 2021. So it is still really still new for me. We were together a little over 20 years. We were married for 8. And so just walking this journey, and I really like what you said, Portia, about we still have purpose, because that is key. And just that right there opened up something else for me where I'm like, that's right, I still have purpose. And God has me here for a reason. And so I'm just happy to be here, and I'm just thankful for the support. And God is definitely in the center of it all. If I never knew he was there before, I know he's there now. Thank you so much. I'll pass it on to the next one.
Man, I tell you, see, I never knew how strong a widow could be until I became a widow.
Yeah.
There is a lot of strength in us, and there is even strength in us and you that we have not even tapped into yet. So we have to allow God to give us the wherewithal to do what we do from day in and day out. It's amazing. It is amazing, but it is doable. We can do this. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like I said, you stand in the mirror, talk to yourself and say that we can do this. It may be hard. It is hard, but you can still do this. You can do this. All right. Let's hear from Dwayne Ford. Dwayne, are you still with me?
I'm still with you. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yes. My name is Dwayne Ford, and I was married 28 years, and now I'm like 3.5 years past the death of my wife. It's been a journey, but I think that, like you said, God is awesome, and God wants to use us all, especially me. I say me, to help others get through the grief and moving forward process of losing that loved one. And I see that's where he's been using me, and that's what I've been doing for like the last 1.5, 2 years. So I encourage you all to be open to open to share with other widowers and widowers, and open to help them move forward and also be open to receive advice from others that will help you move forward in life. And I bless God, and I thank him for having me here today with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And one of the questions that we're going to get to for the men is, I don't know why the status quo is that men, it's so hard for them to agree to get counseling. Can you want to address that real quick before we move on to why do you think, what is your opinion on that? And then we're going to hear from Tony.
I think it's definitely important to do that, especially as men, because it's a traumatic experience. And just to think that you can do this by yourself and on your own and under your own power, you might find yourself tripping up and actually damaging yourself even more had you not spoken to someone. So it was important for me to actually speak to someone to help me through the process, to help me understand, to help me deal with it, and to help me to start moving forward. My counselor was able to help me say, hey, it's set some steps, set some boundaries, set some easy wins for you to kind of step out of where you were and to start moving forward as the person that you're going to be, that you are. So it's so important to talk. It's so important to just talk about what you're going through and to talk to someone that you can truly trust and truly be free with. And that's the importance of having a counselor.
That is, and that's where well, Tiffany, we can agree to that, that's where strength really comes in, when, or showing the power of a man, when you can actually make the decision to go get help. We don't believe there's any weakness in that. Carol, your statement?
So my statement is we tend to grieve based on how we grew up and what we were learned even as children. And one of the things with men, I believe wholeheartedly why men have a problem is because oftentimes whenever they have experienced any type of loss, or even as a child, or the parents may have said, man up. Men don't cry, men don't, we're strong. So men tend to have a problem with dealing with things because of just how they were brought up oftentimes as well. But I'm glad to see that we have men on the call, on this particular platform, to really help encourage other men, because men need the support of other men to understand. And men and women, we're different. And I'm not going to take too much longer. We're different. Women, we are emotional. When something's going on with us, we're really going to express it. And a lot of times men tend to hold things in.
Yeah. And I find that when, not just men, but women as well, when we hold things in, it manifests in our physical bodies. So that was free anyway. But I've learned that, and we don't want that to happen. So thank you so much, Dwayne. Stay with us as long as you can. I know you have another something else to do, so stay with us as long as you can. I so appreciate you joining us, though. Let's hear from Tony. I think you're muted. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is Tony Wade. I was married for 36 years to my beloved wife, Karen Wade. And as a brief counsel said, this has been a journey, and it differs for different people. But I like to say that, there's a song by the Winans. It says, "I just want to know." And a couple of verses that really hit me is like, one says, I hurt so many nights, I cried so many days. And I tell you, boy, after a good cry, I just feel awesome. I just feel awesome just to let it out. And I'm a man's man, and I love God, and just letting it out just is therapeutic for me. But I just like to say that, you can make it. It may be difficult. You're going to have some challenges, but you know what? You can make it. You can make it. It's been about 2 years for me now. And every day I wake up, I just thank God that, he's got me through another day. And every day I feel like I get just new wisdom from God on how to navigate in this new journey. As someone said, I've recently thought about the fact that, I'm so busy the first year or so, looking at myself and wondering what's going to happen to me and who's going to take care of me. But my attitude now is, I just, I'm doing the work for the Lord, and I just know that God's going to take care of me. So I just want to leave you guys with that nugget.
God's going to take good care of us. He is. And on that note, I would even say that in dealing with the loss, don't over spiritualize things, in a sense. By that, we have to acknowledge what we're feeling, just like you had, Tony, and God has taken us through. But there are some that don't actually face the issue that they're dealing with. They don't really want to accept the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, and all of that. But when we embrace it,
Right.
we're able to actually have that good cry. And it doesn't matter how long we've been a widow or a widower, because of the relationship that we had with our spouse, that love is going to always be there. That love is always going to be there. The memories of the love is always going to be there. And I just don't want us to over spiritualize things and say, well, just pray about it. And then here we can't deal with it naturally.
Right.
But when we can deal with it naturally and spiritually, our strength comes on. Like, where did that come from?
Right.
So thank you so much. We'll be back to you with another topic, because you know what we're going to do before we get off of this before we get off this broadcast. And let me tell you just a couple of topics that we're going to tackle. When do I remove the clothes from my home? When do I take off my wedding ring? When do I date again? When just different things, even triggers, all of that. We're going to get through as much as we can. And then maybe, who knows, down the line, a few months from now, we might come together again and talk about more. But these are some of the topics that when I'm speaking with widows across the country, they have issues with. And we cannot go by the advice that someone who has not lost their spouse gives us, other than to pray. Until you walked in our shoes. Hey, yes. Anyway, okay. Next is Adrian, and then we're going to hear from Elvis.
Okay, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to say happy anniversary to you.
Thank you.
And also, I thank God that I have been your nephew 25 of those 33 years, married
Yes.
to your niece, which I'm sorry if I get a little emotional, but
It's all good.
just losing her just a little under 2 months ago is still fresh to me, you know. So I know God is carrying me, but yeah, I'm still dealing with the emotional side and the human side of me missing her. You know, we been married 25 years. This year was 25 years together, 35 years. And, you know, we always been together, you know, always doing the church thing, singing together, acting crazy together, laying each other out, you know, and, but it's been all good and it's still fresh to me. And I'm just eager to hear what those, you know, you all that have been, have lost your loved one the last few years or whatever the case may be, to hear what can help me. I'm here because I need help. And, you know, no man is an island, no man stands alone. And so if you see me crying, you know, I know that God's got him, but, you know, I'm still dealing with the loss of my wife, you know, so I'm sitting here in the house by myself, you know, never been like that, you know, always been in the house with somebody, you know, because as soon as I got married, you know, I was living with my mom, then I moved with my wife. So, but again, I'm here to get answers, and I know I'm going to be uplifted by the time this broadcast is over. So
Wonderful. And that is my heart's desire, that whatever we say today, it will encourage and it will empower. This is my why. This is also a broadcast with First Partaker of Purpose, my why. And this is my why, to render hope and encouragement. I don't care whatever your purpose is, find a way to make it, to manifest it. God will open up doors. When we say yes to God, God will open up doors that we are able to fulfill purpose. Don't forget, I said every widow, every widower still has purpose. Adrian, don't hold back on those tears. If that's what you feel, do it, because you are among those that know what you're feeling. You're among those that know what you're feeling. All right, Elvis.
Hello, how are you?
Good,
Sorry I was
Elvis.
late. Thank you for having me. Very good so far. What I've heard has been very encouraging to me. I'm probably the newest one of this group. almost going on 4 months. It's hard. It's very hard. And when Miss Wheatley reached out, she was just like, don't give me the spiritual version. And it was so refreshing to hear that. I've learned a lot about me in the last 3 months. Nick and I were together for 33 years. I was 14. I was 14 and she was 15. So we've been together for a very, very long time. I don't even know what to say or how to describe. When you talk about triggers, I'll say this on yesterday, we went to close for our new church. And I got up from the table and I just walked out. I couldn't take it because I felt like this was unfair and she was supposed to be here, So the triggers, I'm being honest, I'm used to being in control of everything. However, I was not in control of this at all, so I'm learning to express myself. If I hurt, I'm learning to be honest and say, yes, this hurts. This hurts, But my new word in this season is I'm adjusting. I am adjusting. I'm adjusting. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
I so appreciate it. And my thing is as well, when you say something to the effect of, she was supposed to be here, you wonder, God, why you allow this to happen to me? May I say that it's evidently he knew that we could handle it. God knows all things. He knew that we could handle it. And he knew that this day was going to be in our future where we would take what we have and share it with the world that are who has the experience of being a widow or widower. So the hurt, somebody has to know that, yes, we can relate to you because we know you're hurting. The tears, we can relate to you because we can relate to you when you say you were mad at God. Hey, it is what it is. And when I was speaking with Elvis, just like he said, I asked him how he was doing, which I think that actually, it just came out because you really can't ask a widow or widower that close in death of their spouse how you're doing, because we really don't know. We're just kind of like going through the motions. But we understand, into our audience, we know that you mean well. We know you mean well. But there are sometimes we just don't have the answer. But I'm adjusting is a good one until God gives us the next moment of what to say. And definitely don't try to explain your feelings or your emotions to anyone. You just can't do it, but as I stated earlier, don't over spiritualize it, deal with it, and then God will give us the strength to go from day to day, from day to day. We don't know how it's done, but he sees our tears, he sees your tears, but he knows the strength that we have on the inside of us. So, I'm just so grateful that you're here with me on today. You're here with me on today, and we're gonna talk about a couple of things. Now I know different experiences are for different people that are with me on today. There are some who lost their wife suddenly. And matter of fact, Elvis, please speak to that. How did you lose your wife? And I know there are others that their spouse was sick. So, okay.
I lost Nick May the 12th of this year at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to a drunk driver. My brother-in-law was changing her tire, finished putting the tire on. I had left the scene probably about 5 minutes before or 10 minutes before anything happened. And she was getting ready to get in the car. She was finished. They were finished. As she was going around the side of the car to get in, he struck her. Her head hit the windshield. She broke her neck. And so she was taken instantly. Yeah.
And I know there are thousands of other widows and widowers who may have lost their wives or husbands in that manner. And see, I can't speak to that. That's why we need your voice. You know, we need your voice as well as we encourage you. You encourage other men and women that there is life afterwards. You're adjusting. You can adjust, but you can't do it without the strength of God. I can't even imagine losing my husband suddenly like that after all those years. But thank God that I thank you so very much for being here to share your experience and to know that God has taken you through. And just like he's taken you through, he will take the many, many other husbands through or wives through if they just allow him to do it. Ah, I'm telling you, I'm just grateful to God. The Tony, is there something that you can share as far as when your wife, was she sick, or there's a different type of experience for people who taken care of their spouse or who lost their spouse suddenly?
My wife was sick for about maybe 8 months. My wife died of cancer. So I had 8 months to sort of kind of, go through the whole ordeal. And, I just like to say that, I just believe that, I thank God for the time that she was here. Um, I just look back now, I just thank God for just giving me, 59 years with my wife at that time. But as the gentleman said, and I just sit there and thought about what he just said, I can only imagine how he must feel because my situation was different. But God's still a sovereign God. And to your point earlier, he's in control and he's going to get us through it. It's kind of how I live my life these days.
He definitely would get us through it. And don't forget, even in getting through, it is no harm for men or women to get counseling. And let me tell you, it's not that if you are a pastor or a minister or evangelist that something like this won't happen to you. Think again. Think again. Elvis, you're a pastor, correct?
Yeah.
And it happened to Elvis. Adrian is a bishop in the Lord's church. It's happened to him. I'm an elder. It happened to me. Whether you have a title or if you don't have a title, it can happen. And before we close this broadcast, we are going to give married couples some, well, lack of a better term, some advice on loving on your spouse now before it's too late. We don't want to have to regret some things that we did not do. Okay. And you know what? It is what it is, but I love dealing with things that people don't want to talk about. Hey, it is what it is. And that's one of the things we're going to do today. Whether you know what, even from a point of now, Albus, I know this doesn't apply to you, nor Adrian, or anyone that's been that just lost their spouse. But I'm talking to the broad audience of widows and widowers. Even when the sexual part comes in, we're going to get to that as well. It's so amazing how people think. And one of the things I just want the audience to know, well, you got to know my sense of humor. We don't want your husband. We don't want your wife. You probably don't even want them, but we don't want them as well. But what anyway, okay, all right. You got it. You got to know me. My sense of humor may be dry to some. Anyway, not Tony, Dwayne, let us know your experience. What was your experience as far as your your wife, and Tiffany as well? First Dwayne, then Tiffany. And we want to hear each other out. Stay with us as long as you can. But somewhere in our sharing, someone in the audience may know, may pick up something that we didn't pick up, may be encouraged by a word that someone else may have said and not necessarily ourselves. So we're sharing so that everyone can have an opportunity to speak their heart. Dwayne, are you there?
I hope you guys can hear Can you hear me?
Okay, you're freezing on me. Okay,
Can you
let's
hear
go.
me, Portia?
No, you're freezing on me, Dwayne. So let's take a moment and I'm gonna go to Tiffany. Hopefully, oh, wait a minute. I see you now. Wait a minute.
How about
Okay, Dwayne,
now?
try it again.
Okay, good. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I lost Karen. Karen had a heart attack. So she had the heart attack over in the night. And it's hurtful for me because I wasn't there for her. I wasn't, I think about what if I was there in a room with her, could I have done CPR or something like that to prevent her from passing away? So there's a hurtful part of her passing away, but it was instant for her. But it was like it's still a lasting memory in my mind that I wasn't there for her. But growing up and growing through this, I had to, I had to grieve. I did grieve my wife, and I had a period of time to do that. But I also had to encourage my kids to move forward as well. Me, unfortunately, I lost my mom at 15 to cancer, and so to have to lose a mom that early, I had to now take that experience as well as take what I'm going through now and actually minister to my kids. And that's why I was saying earlier that it was important for me to not.
Okay, Dwayne, we lost you, babe. And you're muted. So let me do this. Dwayne, we're gonna switch out only because it says your bandwidth is very low, so we can hardly understand what you're saying. So what we're going to do, we're going to switch out. I don't know whether you can get on another.
My grieving period
Dwayne,
and kind of move forward and be the person that can actually reach back and talk to someone else and help them.
okay. I'm sorry about that connection there. Tiffany, can you share? Share whatever's on your heart.
Yes, yes. So again, my husband, he actually he became ill. Well, I won't say he was ill. He complained about pain around this time last year. It was probably around May. But this time last year, we were doing what we love to do. We were going to the beach. We would always do date nights, going to different restaurants. So even in spite of the pain that he was feeling, we still continued on. He did go to first of all, he's similar to you, Portia. He had very dry humor. So, I would say things like, you probably should go to the doctor. Why don't you get get a scan done, an MRI. So, he would always make little comment, well, who are you, Nurse Tiffany now? And I'm like, listen, you're in pain, go ahead to the doctor. So he would always give me a hard time. Nonetheless, we went through the summer. By September, I ended up having to take him to the emergency room, but this was around the time when he total Redskin fan. So this was around the time when football season started. Literally, he's in the front of the TV. And I remember I wanted to check his temperature because some signs I had seen. And I was thinking, let me make sure, even if it, could have even been COVID. So I was doing all of this stuff. And so I said, look, you have a temperature. Let me take you to the emergency room. And he again gave me a hard time. He said, I'm watching a game right now. He was telling me move from in front of the TV. So, again, just that dry humor. But I did take him to the emergency room, and it turned out he had blood clots in his lung. And so he did get the medication that they thought he should have. And just a few days later, I ended up having to take him again back to the hospital to the emergency room. And then he never came out. And then he passed on October 31st. So he did pass away from cancer. His lungs were full with the masses. And I took care of him even while, I mean, yes, of course, the medical, but what I mean by take care of him, I mean washing and making sure his skin, I had shea, but look, everybody at the hospital would tease me. They said, we come in the room, the fragrance, like the room was just set up with this ambiance because I took care of him. I shaved him. I made sure he looked good every day. And as I've told others, it was an honor for me to take care of him. I didn't flinch. I was on it. I told the nurses, I brought all my stuff from home. And I made sure that he was well, everything. And it was an honor. And it was a blessing for me to be there with him even to the end, to hold on to him till he took his last breath, because I love him so much.
Yes.
And so I'm thankful that God allowed me to be there with him every day, even to the last moment. So yes, if you can spend time with your spouse, you can do things. If you find that you're not being as attentive as you should be, we take each other for granted, especially when you get into like, oh, it's been 30 years. I'm not saying everybody, but just human nature. You may take the relationship and the other person for granted because, oh, we'll go out next week, or we'll do it then, or, tell them you love them then. Do something special for them, right now, out of your comfort zone. If you're a person, maybe you're like, oh, I don't even like sending flowers to my wife, but she likes flowers. Go ahead and do it. It's just one time, or here and there, you can do it to make her happy, and same vice versa. Do those date nights. I so miss our date nights. We always visited different restaurants and just had a good time, just to keep everything fresh. Again, don't take each other for granted, where you stop even going out with each other. Love on each other. It is so important, and it's the little things. We didn't have to spend a lot of money on each other. I'm gonna tell you, this is what I've told others too. The special time for me was when it rains really hard, it's pouring, and we turn off TV, radio, dead of silence, and we just cuddle up. Just cuddle up, watch and listen to the rain. That for me, always special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always special.
We always can have those special moments, you just, when you really think about it, just the little things, like you said, the little things are really what matters. And in the years to come, today and years to come, you remember those some of the things that you said, in the sense of, it may not mean anything to me, but it's big to him, or it may not mean anything to her, but it's big to him. So it's amazing how we can just share the love while you have an opportunity, while you have a chance to do it. Okay. All right. Did we get everybody? I think I had everyone to share. Did I miss anybody in particular? Okay, let me ask you this. One of the things I wanted to share with those that are newly widows and widowers, not just here on, not just today for my guest, but those who are in our audience who may be newly in this experience as a widow or widower. Just know, look out for the first of anything. The first you have to go to, first time you are without her on her birthday. The first time you go to a place with many memories without her or him. The first time of Thanksgiving without him or her. The first time of Christmas without him or her. Has anyone had a really big moment as far as a first? Now, let me check with Adrian and Elvis. Have you experienced a first yet without your wife?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Not yet.
It's not that I want you to like, hold your breath and it's coming, but just, just flow and just know that God's got you in the front, in the back, in the middle. He's got you. He'll carry you through that. But, just be mindful. That's a good word to use. Just be mindful that you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. And hold on to those great memories. Just hold on to those memories of what would she do? How would she actually conduct herself on those days? And those tears you may be laughing. Think about this, laughing and crying at the same time. Yeah, definitely think about that. But let no one take those memories away from you. No one. So, Adrian, what about you? I think you're.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My first experience was actually last week. As you know, I flew to Texas for our General Assembly, and that was the first time me being in a hotel by myself. I'm usually tired. My wife is usually with me, even if she could not physically go to every meeting or every service. At least she was there in the hotel room when I got back. So this trip was basically relaxation, but it was kind of busy, which was good. So I didn't have a lot of downtime to think, but it was just basically empty. That was the first time I ever experienced actually going to a hotel room by myself. And of course, I didn't want nobody there. No way. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel like nobody being there with me anyway. So yeah, that was my first last week. So
wow. That's amazing. And matter of fact, I just sent you a message, so check your phone.
Okay.
Okay. The love. It is amazing how we have to actually share what we are feeling. Whoever knew that we would be at this moment? We sure didn't know. And if we did not know it, well, now you know, because he's using you to strengthen, as we that are here on today strengthen each other. He's using you to strengthen those in the world. And you just don't know how grateful I am, because I'm fulfilling purpose. I got that thing. I am an encourager. So I encourage you, whatever your purpose is, find a way to get it done. And men, one of the things I would like to share with you is don't take so long to go to the doctor. Why do you fight going to the doctor? I don't know. I'm not a man, so I don't know. But usually women's intuition is like something is going on, something's wrong, what's going on, something's up. So we want you to be with us way longer than you think. We want you to be with us a long time. So we're just sharing. You feel an ache, a pain, something that's not familiar with your body. Listen to your body. Men and women, listen to your body, okay? We talked about triggers. One of the things we don't want you to do is to get stuck, okay? Has anyone experienced that? Stuck for a moment, stuck, not necessarily in your grief, but stuck to the point where you don't even want to do anything. And I know there are phases. I remember not long after my husband passed away, I was pretty much in a fetal position. I didn't want to bathe. I was in a dark room. I didn't want to go out, and I definitely didn't want to go out with couples who, with husbands and wives together. That's I would say kind of like natural response or emotions. So if that happens, still embrace the moment. I still say embrace the moment, because that's a phase we have to go through, but we can't get stuck there. Anyone agree with that? Anyone will have anything to say on that note? I don't want to, hog the conversation. I want to hear from you, because those that are sharing today, Like I said, you're helping many widows and widowers across the country.
Well, you know, and Portia,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, go ahead, the lady.
Oh, I just wanted to say, regarding the stuck piece, that's a very good topic, because I heard one of the gentlemen mention about what if. The different, better, or more can cause individuals to become stuck in grief when you don't necessarily be able to handle the different, better, or more. There are certain things that, even though we wish we could have done different, better, or more, that was beyond our control. So when we continue to dwell strongly on that, that can definitely cause us to become stuck in grief. And becoming stuck in grief is really a real place. It's really a real place. But that's when the affirmations become very powerful, and telling yourself, like, yes, I'm having this moment, but I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to stay in this moment. So that's really important. That's really important. And then I'll share a little later some other things that I really wanted to talk about based on things that I've heard.
Great. Adrian, you were going to say?
Yes, I was going to say, what was I going to say? Yeah, I was going to say that, you know, your niece didn't cook. And so, so I did basically all the cooking. So after she passed, it was like I was ready to get rid of the air fryer, the stove, the microwave, because I didn't find a purpose. I know I had to eat, but honestly, I have been eating out basically every night ever since she passed away. I think I cooked one time for me and Lexi. And but right now, I guess I'm in the mode. I don't feel like cooking anything because I really don't find a purpose for cooking. I mean, I could survive just going and grab a hamburger, or maybe go and get some chicken salad and some crackers or whatever, and I could survive the day, you know. And so, but I find myself not wanting to even be in the kitchen. And y'all might grab a bowl of cereal, something like that, but that's me. Because I used to love to cook. Cause I used to love to hear my wife, oh, that tastes good. That, you know. But now I don't have anybody say, oh, that tastes good. Let's like give it to somebody else, you know. But yeah.
And that's real, Adrian, and it's nothing wrong with that. Let's call it the emotion right now, because it's so fresh in your life right now. Who knows, in another year, you're going to say, okay, I feel comfortable in this kitchen because of the memories of Tanya not being able to cook. So you can be in the kitchen and literally, being in her presence, as far as praying to God, but feeling the love of Tanya, and like, okay, Tanya, you see, I'm cooking this, though you didn't cook it. Look, and it's just another moment that we can embrace in honor of her, in her memory. And you may not feel like doing it now, but in time to come, it's a possibility that you're going to go back to that enjoyment of cooking, but you're going to invite her in, to actually maintain that memory.
Right.
All right. Who was first? Let's see. Tony, and then okay.
I think I might have been. I had my hand up for a little bit there.
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to comment on two things. The whole thing in terms of the getting stuck, I've definitely had moments of being stuck or feeling depressed and kind of scary. I mean, the moments were scary. The nighttime's horrible. Daytime, I could stay busy, but the night times, I really, really struggle. I continue to struggle. The difference is I did join a grief share session with Bridgeway Community Church. And as a matter of fact, we had a fellowship yesterday to connect with everyone because everything was Zoom. So yesterday was our first day actually meeting in person. That and counseling. So if you're hesitant, please don't be hesitant about getting counseling or joining a grief share, either with others. And it was mixed. It wasn't just widows and widowers. I also had the privilege of meeting Portia, and she invited me to different sessions. And then Dora, I met Dora, who she has Friday night widows, 730s, almost like a party online kind of thing for widows. But I say all of that to say, you just need those nuggets.
Yes.
And yes, you're going to pray, and yes, you're going to rely on God, but you need some things in your toolkit. And for me, once I had those things, when I find myself in those moments, I could fight my way out because I have this in my toolkit, and I'm not going to stay depressed. So I'm not going to stay stuck. So please do that. And the other thing, from my own personal experience, and something I'm actually still working on, if you don't have like your will and all your paperwork in order, make sure you do that, because and talk about it. If you know, whoever's on the line, you're married, because when my husband and I, we were in one location, we had downsized. Like, I knew everything was in the house, but when we decided to downsize to try to look for a new home with no steps, you know, because we were tired of old steps, but I didn't know where anything was. Not only am I dealing with this, you know, I'm going through this traumatic experience, but I didn't even know where to start. Like, what do you even do? What do I do right now? So those are some things. When you say stuck, you can be stuck in different ways.
Yes.
So those are the two things I just want to encourage anyone listening. Get your documents in order. Make sure each other knows what things are. Talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. And if you're feeling stuck, seek counseling. Don't be embarrassed. Don't ever be embarrassed. Get the counseling, join with other people. I'm telling you, it really has helped me. And I'm so glad that I have different groups that I can kind of pull on when I need to. I could call Portia, I could text her. Dora sends me text. It could be a text message. I may be down and out, and somebody sends me a text, and that done lifted my spirits. I went from 0 to 100. So just those things. That's all.
And when we are done with this broadcast, Carol Williams is a jewel for those who are grieving. And though she's an elder in the Lord's church, she's not one of those that Jesus this and Jesus that and Jesus. She deals with reality. And that's what I want everyone to do, is deal with reality. But please make connection with her, even send, whether it's a Facebook post that she does or a quote. They're so powerful. So just make sure you connect with her, and I'll make sure you get her information so that we can all grow. We can all grow. I don't care what your experience is. There's help out there for you. All right, let's hear from Dwayne, and then we're going to hear from Tony.
Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Okay.
You just muted yourself.
Don't get stuck in the
Okay.
minutia of the overwhelming thing of the admin portion of what you're going through. I think that the things you have to do, because you have to pick up a lot of things now that you're just a single person going through life. You're a widow or widower. You have to go through it. Don't get stuck with all that. You have to take it piece by piece. And the other part about it, what Sister was saying about the communication, after, in the beginning, people are willing to talk to you about, you losing your loved one. They're willing to invite you over. They're willing to have you, in their presence. But sooner or later, they kind of think that you're okay and that you've moved on. So you become like just that fifth wheel of that person or friend that's just there. Don't get stuck in that loss of not having somebody to speak to, or having somebody to hang out with, or having somebody to talk to in general. And that's why it's so important that definitely have a counselor on your side, because everybody else doesn't want, they get to that point, they don't want to hear about what you've gone through or about your loss and what you're going through. Well, when you get a counselor, you have somebody that actually wants to hear how you're doing and how you're moving forward. So don't get stuck with thinking that your friends and family is going to always be there every day for you. So that's my takeaway.
That's for sure. And when you actually, when no one else is there, believe me, Portia Wheatley is there. So Tiffany's there, Dwayne's there, Tony's there, Kara's there, Adrian there, Elvis is there. If no one else is there, we're here. We're here for each other. Tony?
All right, so I'll try to be quick if I can. So, I guess we can just keep it really real. I've learned over these last couple of years, it hasn't been quite 2 years, that I can sit here and put a face on and tell everybody everything is great. I can quote scriptures, but at the end of the day, you know what? This is real. This hurts. This hurts a lot, and I'm certain everybody on this call can attest to that. But I want to say that I thought a few years back I lost my daughter in 2014. Came home from college and she just died in the house. My wife and I went to grief counseling. We were going through it together. That helped a lot. Then my wife passed in 2021, and it was just me by myself. Yeah, people are going to come around. They're going to help for a minute, but to somebody's point, they're going to leave you at some point, and you're going to be all out there. At least you think you're yourself, not quite by yourself, but nobody wants to be in, I call it this community. Nobody wants to volunteer for this community. But I like to say that, through it all, I've discovered that, who I am by myself. Somebody mentioned that to me in the very early stage. I'm like, man, you done lost your mind. I'm 61 years of age. If I don't know who I am by now, shame on me. Well, I'm learning now that I am a new person. I'm a different person. I'm figuring out who Tony Wade is by himself. I've also discovered that, after a year or so of, not dating, not doing anything, because I just want to, just wait on the Lord. And I just basically wanted to, honor my wife. Well, I discovered also, and just keeping real, meeting some woman and going out with her, that ain't gonna make me happy, So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, I discovered, I call it reframing now. When the enemy comes to me and try to tell me it's gonna be bad, it's not gonna be good, all these negative thoughts in my mind, I just reframe it to something good. I look at where God has brought me from, and as long as you're here and you're breathing, that's another day for you to just overcome, this tragedy, if you will, and I just like to think I'm a Christian man, I believe in the counselors. I go to a counselor myself. I lost about 40 pounds over 2 years when my wife died, so I was stressed out. I believe in the doctors, but ultimately, my trust is in God. God will get you through it. That's my testimony. God will get you through each day. Not gonna be easy. You're gonna have some rough days, but guess what? He's gonna get you through it, and you're gonna be okay.
I
I'm done.
love it. I love it. I love it. He's going to get us through it. Woo! And that's more than a notion. And that is more than a notion just to say, but because you have to experience it before you can honestly and authentically say that God will get you through it. And we're, like I said earlier, we're not over spiritualizing it, but that's the way we get through, because otherwise we would have been on some type of abusing some type of substance, drinking, smoking more than just cigarettes, all of that. And just like to your point, Tony, you said going out or finding another woman or myself with another man, if God doesn't fill that void, that man and that woman will not do it. It will not do it. In time, yes, you may go out and experience dating or whatever, but until you are happy within and you have the peace of God, you can go out with as many women, or I go out with as many men as I want to, but that void has to be filled by God. Kara, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I want to talk briefly and not stay here about over spiritualizing, because this is important. So oftentimes we can over spiritualize things to the point where instead of dealing with where we are in our grief process, we use God to suppress what we're actually feeling. So I want to make sure that we understand that it's okay for us to grieve how we feel we need to grieve, and deal with all of our emotions, knowing, and I have a group, Strength for the Grieving by the Grieving. And I created this group because I've experienced so many losses that I got tired of hearing, and I'm being transparent, God's going to fix it, God's going to do it. But yet in this moment, in my loss, I'm angry with God. And so my angry with me being angry with God, what do I do now that I'm angry with God? And people are telling me to go to a God that I'm angry with, to pray to a God that I'm angry with. How do I handle all of that? It's imperative to understand that deal with what you're dealing with. Allow yourself to feel what you feel. And I always say after that, God is definitely going to heal you. God is a God of healing, and I believe wholeheartedly in God. But the reality is, a lot of times we have dysfunction in the body of Christ because we don't allow people to feel what they feel, deal with what they're dealing with, and allow God to heal them, and allow individuals to grieve how they choose to grieve. And maybe, yes, I love the Lord. I love the Lord. It's okay. I may not right now, as much as I love the Lord, I may not want to hear you quote Genesis to Revelation. That doesn't
That's so
take away
true.
from my love from God. That does not take away from my love from God. I may want to cry. Jesus himself wept. And so I think it's imperative as a body of Christ, let's not lock people into always feeling like they have to be running around the church, flipping through hoops, and they can't allow themselves to grieve so that they can be functional, so that they can be functional. I'm done because I know I can stay right here because Pastor Portia noticed my heartbeat. It's my heartbeat that we don't keep breeding dysfunction in the church because we're not real with where we are in our process.
We must be authentic, transparent, of course, loving, but let me do what I want to do, or express myself the way I want to express myself. Because now let's think about this. Everyone's relationship is not the same, because you could have been married as I have 30 plus years, but I may say I did not have a good relationship with my husband, so I can move on quicker. But when you had a good husband like myself, it takes a moment. When you had a good relationship with your spouse, it takes a moment to move on, but you can do it. You can do it. And what works in your house may not work in my house. What you do for moving on may not work for me, but whatever you do that will help you move on. And when we say move on, we're not saying that it is just you're not feeling anything or get over it. And you better not allow someone to tell you, girl, get over it. Man, get over it. No, until they walked in your shoes. Woo, I feel this thing down on the inside, because I enjoy encouraging people, not to be condescending to people, nor have people to feel like all those years of something, 20 something, I don't care if it's 1 year. And a couple of you guys on here have not even have not touched the 1 year mark yet. But every loss is important. Adrian?
Yes, I used to watch you and Portia, you and Uncle Teddy, how your relationship was with each other from what I saw from the outside. And I can truly say that Uncle Teddy loved you, and you certainly love Uncle Teddy. And then when he passed away, I used to, after maybe a couple of years afterwards, I used to think, how in the world did Aunt Portia make it? You know, because you, from what I can say, you had a loving relationship. And just like myself, I had a loving relationship with my wife. I mean, we was like inseparable. You see one, you see the other. And of course, we was two peas in the pod for a long time, even before we got married. So now that I've been walking in the same shoes that you are, you know, I'm starting to walk in the shoes that you have walked in. Now that I can understand, and like Sister Carol, Miss Carol has said, right after my wife passed, I didn't feel like hearing. I mean, this was one sentence that I didn't want to hear. I got tired of hearing was, "Is there anything I can do for you?" I'm like, just do it. You know, you think I'm gonna call you back and ask you, cook me some chicken, or can I borrow it for $50, or my car payment needs to be paid? Are you gonna pay? I didn't, you know, there was one statement that I personally got tired of hearing. And I know people mean well, and some, you know, they just do it as a conversational close But that was one statement that I was tired of hearing after all so many calls that I received. Is there anything I can do? Just let me know. Why do you think I'm going to call you back? I'm the one grieving. So if you feel led to do something, you do it out of your heart. I shouldn't have to call you back. But yeah, but like you
That's
said,
good.
it's according to your relationship with your spouse. I personally, it's going to take a while for me. I already know, because I'm not saying that I'm trying to make it longer than what it have to be, but I know with Tanya, I mean, it was just there. I mean, I love Tanya to pieces, So right now, like you said, I'm not even thinking about just trying to date or trying to. I mean, because
Right.
I'm not over it yet. It's just me. I'm
Right.
just not over.
Right. And when you try to move on quicker than what you ought to, you're gonna is it digress or go back and repeat some steps, because some people move on too quickly to something that they think they want or desire, but it's not the time yet. You have to go through a healing process yourself before you can take your brokenness into another relationship. But the meal, Adrian, you let me know when you're coming. I'll have whatever ready for you to eat. You got that. That's a promise.
Make sure you have that soup you make.
You got it. And one of the things that you mentioned on that, and I had that on my note as well, is like for me, it's not just me, but widows, it's hard for us to ask for help. It was something that I needed done around the house. And I asked this one guy, gentleman, really, he was a friend of the family, even when Wheatley was here. One of those, what can I do to help? And I asked him, it was easy, pretty much easy thing for this particular person. And it took him so long to do, which he did not ever do. And then asking twice is out of the question. It's hard enough for widows to ask women to ask the first time, let alone asking twice. And the second time, I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I'll get it done. So when people ask, what can I do for you? Or, you know the person. And especially if a woman asks you to do it after you have volunteered that you would be there for them. I was going to say, we're not going to, I know I won't ask again. I'll get it done some kind of way. But just to our audience, when there's a widow or a widower in need, kind of like follow through on your promise. Follow through. And I understand, Adrian, again, you saying you're not even thinking about, someone asked, thinking about dating. Let me finish that statement. Someone had the audacity to ask me on my, what did I do? Wait a minute. My screen someone had the audacity to ask me on the day of the funeral, you getting married again? I'm like, what? Come on. They must not have been in their right mind. But anyway, I want you to know that you can do this. Stand in the mirror and say, you can do this. And of course, we're talking about with the strength of God, you can do this. So before we close out, I want each one of you to have some type of, advice or a nugget for the married couples. Now, I know, Tiffany, you shared some, but just in case you have something else. And I know a friend of mine, I'm not going to say the last name, but Joyce, if you can still come on, I still want you to come on to share your experience and to share with our audience your experience in getting some things done before a spouse passes, or even afterwards, because that is something the husbands and the wives really need to talk about. I know it is a topic that you don't want to talk about. I mean, bank accounts, insurance policies, where passwords are, just different things. We're one in the marriage. We're one. So we don't have any hidden agendas nor hidden secrets or whatever, because we never know when we're going to lose someone. So Even before we do that, anyone have any last comments? And then in your last comments, I would love for you to share with a couple who both are here, the husband and the wife are here, and we want them to know some things that they should do before we lose each other. Okay, let's go with Tony and then Tiffany.
Okay, so to your point about making certain each other understand what's going on and, you know, finances and things of that nature, there's all kinds of books out there. Matter of fact, there's a lady at my church, and she wrote one, and I bought it from her. But there's all kind of books out there about, I think one's called like an exit strategy. I think every couple, husband and wife, should have that and have the information documented. And most of us don't, but that's kind of what we should do. So that's out there. Anybody can get to it. I would just say that, you know, we all know that we shouldn't take your partner for granted, but we do. You know, I was married for 36 years. My wife and I dated for 5 years. And every now and then maybe it got stale where I kind of, you know, got a little lazy and wanted to sit on the couch. But there's all kinds of communication information out there too about just putting romance in your marriage. You know, like I heard a lady say about having a date night. Yeah, my wife and I, we did that a lot. But I can't stress enough, communication, communication, communication. If you can communicate, you can get through it. If you can communicate whatever the issues are, you can you'll be able to work through those issues. And nobody's marriage is perfect, even though we put on this, you know, image that everything is all good. Well, we all have to work through some things. And I just say, just continue to roll your sleeves up and work hard. Love your spouse like tomorrow could be their last day, and just communicate with them, you know, and just enjoy what life you have with them, because nobody knows when that life's going to be over.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Tiffany?
Yes, I pretty much said all that I wanted to say, but definitely want to agree with Tony. Those 3 C's: communicate, communicate, communicate. But I also want to add on, my little puppy's trying to get on to the laptop. I also want to add on to be compassionate with each other. That's another C. Be compassionate, extend each other grace and forgiveness. Stop holding on and holding grudges. Let it go. When you apologize and you accept that apology, it is over. Don't bring it back into the fold. Done. And love each other. God extends you grace, mercy, forgiveness. We have to extend that to each other. Those are my closing words.
Great, great. Adrian?
You talk about the 3 C's. Well, I had 3 T's. Be true to yourself, be true to your spouse, and be true to God. And everything will work out fine.
All right. Alvis, are you still with us? I know you were
I
at
am
work, but are
here.
you? All
I am
right.
here. Communication and spend more time together. Show up. Show up.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Show up.
Gotta do it.
That, you know,
You
that
said
was
show
one
up.
of the things that she said, you know. Yeah, show up. Show up. Be there. Your presence, not your gifts, but your presence make a difference. Make a difference. So that would
Man,
be my advice to the married couple.
you hit the nail on the head, because I had it in I jotted down a couple of notes, and one was your presence. Your presence is it means so much, and not just your presence, but your presence and being in the moment. Not just being together and your mind is somewhere else, but be in the moment. Live in the moment. I know Dwayne had to leave, but he left a comment. He said, for the married couples, take vacations together, whether it's 5 miles or 5,000 miles. Take a vacation together. Go and enjoy each other. It's a must. We have to do that and show them that we care, show them that we love them, show them that we're still one. And don't forget, people are still watching, praying and watching our lives to the glory and honor of God. We're not going to let it go. We're going to let people know that there is pleasure in marriage, love, of course, in marriage, grace in marriage. It's a gift. Marriage is a gift. When the husband chooses that wife, or the wife says yes to the man, it's all from God, and we bless God for the same. But we want everyone on this broadcast, as well as in the widows and widowers community, to know that you can do this. You still have purpose and you can do this. Carol, could you give us some closing statements?
So my closing statements would be, allow yourself to grieve how you choose to grieve, express your emotions, but it's important to understand that your journey is your journey. And don't compare your journey to someone else's journey. Someone may be dealing with it by crying, others may be happy. If you're happy, it's okay. Don't feel like you have to force yourself to cry. It's also important to get the support that you need. Grief Share is wonderful. I have the opportunity now to be a facilitator as well of Grief Share. Another great support is griefrecoverymethod.com. They have all kinds of books. I've also posted in the Facebook feed. I also posted a great book. It's called My Winter Season. My Winter Season is a great book for widows and widowers. It talks about Tony Evans' niece, husband, Jonathan Pitt. He talks about his experience being married to Winter and taking care of her and just everything that has happened after she transitioned. That's a great book. Grief Recovery Handbook. Grief Recovery Handbook is also a great resource. And just want you to know that definitely don't try to do it without God, and incorporate God most certainly in your process, but at the same time, allow yourself to grieve so that you can heal, and don't try to replace the loss with anything. Don't try to replace the loss with anything, and allow God to fill the void, and he most certainly will. So thank you, Pastor Portia, for this opportunity. And I just want to say real quick, I honor and applaud each of you all, the guests. Thank you so much, because you were able to talk through your pain, and you have no idea how talking through your pain has actually helped someone and is helping someone, those who are watching and those who watch the replay line, especially for those who is fresh for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, men, for being open and candid, to allow other men to see that it's okay to be open and candid. It doesn't take anything away from God. It doesn't take anything away from your manhood. It doesn't take anything away from anything, just the fact that you're wanting to be healed and you're wanting to be whole. Thank you so much.
Ooh, I thank you so very much. Just as Carol said, thank you to everyone who agreed to come on and share my anniversary with me. I really appreciate it. I want you to go and live your best life. Today's your best life. Tomorrow will be your best life. The next day will be your best life. You have a lot going on. Embrace the love of your spouse, embrace the memories, whatever you have to do to get through the next moment. That's what I want you to do. At any time when you need someone to talk to, call me, text me, email me, or whatever you need to do. Not just those that are on the broadcast, but those that are in our audience. Hit me at what is my email address? It is The Journey to Live, Laugh, Love Again at Gmail. Okay, The Journey to Live, Laugh, Love Again at Gmail. And I have a couple of books. One of the things that God has blessed me with is a network that I have to actually get back to, but a network of individuals who are widows and who lead widows and widowers across the country. And they have several books that I believe would be beneficial to you. And I know, I can't recommend books that I haven't read or that I don't trust the author, but I will put them in the chat room, or shall I say the Facebook page, so that our audience can actually take advantage of them. All right. Thanks again. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.